Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You're listening to the Introverted Nerd Watches, and I am Reese here on Thanksgiving Day. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you Americans. I'm saying you Americans like I'm not also an American. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I am actually recording on Thanksgiving because I don't have anything else to do. I'm not really a Thanksgiving person. I mean, if we can be honest with each other right now. I don't really enjoy turkey. I mean, it's okay, but it's not like my favorite. I only really like side dishes. So like macaroni and cheese, stuffing or dressing, whatever you call it. And maybe some candied yams, and maybe something green, like some other vegetable, just to say that I had some vegetables. But that's it. That's all I'm into. I feel like I'm not into the desserts. I feel like they're disgusting. Sweet potato pie, disgusting. Don't even get me started on pumpkin pie. Throw those things in the trash. Pecan pie, I'm not here for those desserts. So yeah, Thanksgiving pretty limited for me. And I don't have a ton of family that I want to spend time with. I have a brother who he has other family, so he goes to spend time with them. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Nobody cares about this. But I'm all about shopping. So around 5:00 on Thanksgiving, I am getting ready to go shopping. And that's probably what I'm going to do today too. So got to record this so that you all can listen with your families and I can go out and shop for a bunch of stuff that I probably don't need, or not even probably, I definitely don't need any more shit, but you know, holidays, money, shopping, it's fun. So I'm back, Fortune Saved by the Bell, for this Thanksgiving Day. And for this episode, I watched season 4, episode 23, Cut Day. Oh, Cut Day. I used to be, okay. When I was a kid and I watched this episode, I used to think Cut Day was like the coolest shit ever. I was so excited to go to to be in high school so that I could have like a cut day where I could hang out with my friends all day. And then I got to high school and I realized I could cut anytime I fucking wanted to. And yeah, so I didn't need anybody to cut with me. And I got tons of questions about, the whole idea of cut day and why it's a thing. Because I lived in Philadelphia. So a cut day couldn't exist like this until the end of the school year, where everybody was going to be like, where the shit wouldn't even matter. Like the end of the school, it had to be like in May or June where it was warm enough for us to be outside all day. And then we live in Philadelphia, so there are truancy police all over the place waiting to catch some teenagers outside. There were just tons of police all over the place. So no, we could not cut like this. So before I get officially into the episode, let me say that you need to subscribe to the podcast, because that's what you should do. I don't even know. I'm so off today. Like right now, I'm watching TV. I was just, whatever. I'm sorry, you guys. So just subscribe to the podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, even on Spotify and iHeartRadio. So click that subscribe button. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave me a 5-star review. And yeah, recommend the show to your friends and family. Yeah, spread the love here on this Thanksgiving Day. I cheer people up. At least that's what I'm told. People love me for some reason. I don't know why. Um and that's like really true. Like I'm the most standoffish like introvert person when I'm with people, and I have the type of, maybe I have the type of face that people just like to talk to, because people at work love talking to me and I don't like talking to them at all. It's my curse. Um I have been cursed with a friendly face, I guess, when I'm not trying to be friendly. Apparently, I don't have resting bitch face. I can't do it. Or maybe I have it and people just ignore it and they want to talk to me anyway. Whatever. Anyway, let's get into cut day because it's really silly. And we get the breakup of the romance that has lasted the longest on this show so far. Slater and Jesse. Yes, those two lovebirds have called it quits in this episode because Jesse meets a 35-year-old man named Graham, and Slater finally gets I was about to say Slater finally gets with Kelly, but he doesn't really get with Kelly. He hangs out with Kelly and they kind of flirt a little bit, but she's going to be off him in like 2 seconds. So poor Slater breaks up with Jesse, thinks he has a chance with Kelly, doesn't have a chance with Kelly. So let's start with, there's a student council meeting. And Jessie, being the queen of student council or something, she's the student council president or something like that. Who knows? Anyway, she is like, there used to be 3 people on student council, like 3 people sitting at the table on student council. And somehow Jessie has arranged it so that she is sitting at this long table by herself, sort of with a gavel, just with these people like all waiting around like she's a fucking judge. So yeah, that's your girl Jessie. That's how she's worked things out. And this all exists just so we can find out about cut day, because what we hear is that 35-year-old Graham, who looks like a taller version of Jesse's stepbrother Eric. I mean, they could almost be like the same guy. He's just a little bit taller. He's a lot of bit taller. He's like Jesse's height. Eric was like a little tiny munchkin person. So Graham comes up, and Graham is just so over the top and dramatic. And he, with all his head to toe denim, he pulls a plastic foam cup out of his jacket, like dramatically, and he just proceeds to, he keeps calling it a plastic foam cup, and he keeps saying he's just giving all these facts about how they're not biodegradable, and we need to stop the delivery of plastic foam cups to the school the next day. And Zach is like, fuck that. The next day is cut day. I'm not about that shit, like, fuck your plastic foam cups, Graham, Mr. Graham, old man Graham. Like, nobody cares about that except for you. Well, him and Jessie, because Jessie is all about that. Like, she gets wet, like when he starts talking about plastic foam cups, and how they're bad for the environment. So when Mr. Belding comes in to talk about cut day. So this is so bizarre to me. So Mr. Belding comes in and he's talking, and it's just a student council. I don't know why you would talk to these kids specifically. I feel like kids that are on student council are like the good kids. So these are not the kids that you want to be talking to, because it's Jessie, old man Graham, a few nerds, and then Screech, Lisa, and Zach. And I think I think Kelly might have been there too. I can't remember, but it's like mostly the good kids. So I don't know why Mr. Belding comes in to tell these kids about cut day, but or maybe he wanted to do this specifically because of Zach. So Mr. Belding announces that everybody gets an unexcused absence for cut day. Like, he's just sort of accepted it. Like, I know everybody's going to cut school. I can't stop anybody. I can't call anybody's parents because apparently everybody's parents are just cool with this cut day shit. So he tells them that because of everybody gets an unexcused absence, that the 10th unexcused absence that you get means an automatic suspension. And Zach has 9 unexcused absences. So he is fucked. Can't cut on cut day because he can't get suspended. And when they go out to, Mr. Belding tells him, like, don't even fuck with me, Zach, because I'm going to be checking with you all day long. You cannot cut. Now, I don't know why he would want to do that. He obviously wants to suspend Zach. So I feel like the smart thing to do would be to just let Zach cut, find out that he cut school that day, and then just suspend his ass because that's what he wants to do. Mr. Belding, do I have to teach you everything? Like, come on, my guy. If you want to suspend Zach, let him do the shitty thing he's going to do and just suspend his ass. Whatever. I can't do all the work for him. So Zach and Slater talk, and Zach tells them about how, or Jesse tells them about how he can't cut school because he has 9 unexcused absences, blah, blah, blah. And Slater is like super excited about cut day. He's talking to Jesse about how, planning their whole day. And Jesse is like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm about that Graham life. I am going to be here protesting plastic foam cups. And Slater's like, deuces. I'll go out with Kelly then. And they don't argue about it. Like, usually I thought they argue about shit like this, about how Slater doesn't want to do anything Jesse wants to do, but they don't even argue about it. I think Jesse was like already on like the Graham thing, like right from the beginning, because it's not even a question about whether Slater wants to stay. She doesn't ask him to stay. He doesn't offer, and everybody is happier about it. So when Slater makes fun of Zach for not being able to cut, Zach, he gets all toxic masculinity. He can't have anybody questioning his like ability to cut school, I guess, ? So he tells Slater, he bets Slater $100 that he'll get out of school and spend cut day with them. And I'm like, he didn't even start at $10. It was like straight up $100. These kids and their money. Like, I can't even imagine at, what are they, like 16 or 17? I just, at 16 or 17, I did not have $100 to just be betting anybody. Like, I remember when I was in high school, we used to play pity pat for money, like gambling for money, and I lost like $5, and I was straight up about to cry that I lost $5 that my grandma gave me to get something to eat. I was the days of being broke. Excuse me, I'm drinking tea, and it's some good damn tea. It's like some coconut verbena green tea from Harney and Sons. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like coconut something. It's a green tea, and it is very good. So next day, no, not the next day. Jessie is so excited about this protest that she goes to tell Graham about how, she's going to be there, the only one protesting with him. And Graham, I hate this guy. Like, I hate his voice and his face. He is just way too excited, and he's like super intense. I feel like he should be a college student. He's one of those he's like a stereotypical like college freshman who's just way into everything. And he feels like what he's doing is super important. So, and he hasn't had the world crush his spirit yet. So, I can't wait until Graham gets his spirit crushed. That's the Graham I want to see, the crushed spirit Graham. So she tells him, she's going to be there with him protesting. He's like, yeah, Jesse, two people can make a difference because you only need a spark. You only need a spark to start a fire. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe Jesse likes this guy. He is so corny. So cut day starts at the Max. And it's the Max. They rearranged it to put video games and shit in there, and a billiards table. What's those billiards tables that have those things that have like the that have the things on them? It's not just a straight up like pool table. It has like, I don't know, it has those things built into the top of them. I don't know what it's called. Just a billiard table. I don't know. But that's what they have there. And Slater is teaching Kelly, and they're kind of flirting, and he basically spends the entire episode telling Kelly, like in every stop they go on, he spends the entire episode telling Kelly how much Jesse sucks, how bad Jesse is, and how cool Kelly is to be doing the shit that she's doing with him. So this is another thing that I'm like, nah. So they're at the Max, I'm guessing just like first thing in the morning. It's like their first period class. I'm guessing like 8:00 in the morning they're at the Max playing these games, which is like, okay, kind of fun. But the best thing about cutting school is sleeping late. Fuck all this like going to the Max. It's basically you're living out your school day at all these other places, supposedly having fun, but like, nah, dude. I was not even about that. When I used to cut school in high school, I would leave the house waiting for my grandma to leave for work, and then I would come back home and get my ass back in bed and go to sleep until around 11 or 12 o'clock. Like, come on. Like, I was not getting up super early just to go hang out with my friends so that we could go. And plus nothing is open that early in the morning. Maybe since there's like, they have like a dedicated cut day that everybody, has just agreed to. All these stores are open. It's sort of like the Black Friday of, school cut day. So that everything is open a little bit earlier, and, everybody's preparing for it for the year. So maybe that was my problem. I didn't have, there was no dedicated cut day where all stores stayed open or opened early, for us, as juveniles who were not, or as truants. That's what we were called, us truants who didn't go to school. But anyway, that's what I did. I was not hanging out with my friends. And plus, you couldn't get that many people to stay home with you. Like, they were just, I don't know. Maybe I didn't have enough friends for that shit. But I was trying to get into bed and watch TV. So whatever. And I was going through my phase where I was watching soap operas. So yeah, I was at home. I was sleeping till like 11 or 12, and then I was watching those soap operas until like 3:00. Until my grandma got home. So those were the days. not into soap operas anymore. What's happening on General Hospital? Sonny Corinthos still on that show? So they're at the billiards. Zach sneaks out. He makes it to the max. And that's when they decide that he has to, because he tells Slater he made it out of school. That was the bet. He wants his $100. And Slater's like, nah, man, you have to sneak out all day. You have to be at every place at every stop we make, you have to be there until school is over. So this means Zach has to sneak out of every single class, and that's going to be a problem eventually. So, what happened? Oh, yeah. So the class Zach snuck out of, I believe it doesn't even matter what class he snuck out of. He got out of class. He got a nerd to sneak him out. And when he sneaks back into school, what happens? Oh, he sneaks back into school, and Mr. Belding catches him. So he fakes that he's going to the protest with Graham and Jesse. And so, they're protesting, and then this is such a ridiculous protest, and they should both be embarrassed, especially Graham, since he's an adult man and he should know better. So they're protesting the delivery of plastic foam cups to the school. And it's one delivery man, this one, this fat old delivery man. And he has one box. I mean, and it's not that big. I don't know how, they fit all the plastic foam cups that this school needs into this one box, because if I was them and I had seen that box, I would have been like, oh, so we don't even have to protest, because look at how little the delivery is. It's not even worth the protest. But Mr. Belding comes up. He's like, yo, stop harassing the delivery man. If you want to stop the school from using plastic foam cups, put in a formal petition. And it's like, why didn't you think of that? It's so much easier to put in a formal petition first, and then you enjoy cut day. And then if they, reject your petition, that's when you protest. You don't take, what's supposed to be a fun day and then choose to protest. And then your protest gets broken up like 2 seconds after you start. So Zach is like, Zach doesn't care about this protest, and Jesse is all dejected. She's like, we failed, Graham. And Graham is trying to be like give her the pep talk. And he's telling Jesse, they didn't fail. They only, it's an accomplishment that they convinced one person, and he thinks Zach is that one person. And Zach is like, deuces. I don't care about this protest. And he throws his little sign in his face. And then Graham goes on. They go on to talk, and Graham and Jesse hug, and Zach sees them. And that's like the first sign that there's trouble in Jesse and Slater paradise, because Jesse connects with Graham and he understands her, and it's so blah, blah, blah. We'll never see Graham again after this episode. So this really doesn't matter. So the next stop for the gang is, I believe it's the beach. Is it the beach or is it the movies? No, it's the movies. So who, I don't know. The movies in the middle of the day, that feels like an adult thing. I don't feel like when I was a teenager, we were trying to go to the movies at night, especially since they're going to a horror movie. That's the movie that they're at. They're at a horror movie. And once again, Slater talking shit about Jesse. So he tells Callie that Jesse, it's so good to be at the movies with Kelly because Jesse would never go see a horror movie. And Kelly's like, yeah, I've seen, such and such horror movie 7 times, and they're like all happy connecting over it. And Zach comes in at a part where Kelly starts hugging on Slater, or she jumps into Slater's arms because she gets like frightened of the movie. And Zach is just walking around observing all this stuff like, like, look at these two. Like, what is going on with them? And Kelly is so guilty for nothing. Like, when Zach comes up to them and taps them on the shoulder, like, yo, what's going on? Kelly jumps away from Slater, like, yeah, nothing's going on. I don't know why I'm so close to Slater. Nothing's going on with Slater. And it's like, Kelly, you didn't do anything. You know you didn't do anything. Why are you feeling so guilty right now? I hate Kelly sometimes. She's so annoying. So we move on to Zach goes back to school, and Mr. Belding, oh my God. The joke in this scene is that their teacher, Mrs. Culpepper, is visually impaired. So impaired that she's wearing these like thick, like Coke bottle glasses, and she still can't see. So yeah. Isn't it funny that the teacher can't see? That's the whole joke. That was just a Saved by the Bell thing. Isn't it funny that, one of our teachers can't hear? Now, isn't it funny that this teacher can't see? Isn't it funny that what was it? God, isn't it funny? What's his name? I forget his name. I'm such a bad Saved by the Bell fan. The teacher is fat. Like, that's the whole joke about everything. Isn't it funny that this person has this physical, being fat is not a disability, but these physical disabilities, and it's like, what, these are just so funny. I don't remember finding this funny when I was a kid, but maybe I was a stupid kid and I did find the blind teacher funny. Well, she's not really blind, but she's probably legally blind though, because she can't see shit. I don't know how she teaches a class like this, first of all. But anyway, Mr. Belding walks in and he gives her wait for it, telegram. He gives her a telegram saying that she won $2 million. And she does what everybody does when they win a lottery. She's super obnoxious. She quits. She basically throws up her middle fingers and walks out of the class. And I'm like, Mr. Belding, aren't you smart enough to be like a little bit suspicious before you give this thing to this teacher? Because she quit her job. Like, she has to come back because we find out like 2 seconds later when Slater calls Zach on his cell phone in class that it was Slater that sent the telegram. So this woman's life is like ruined. This is I hate these kinds of jokes, like where people fake that, somebody won the lottery. I don't know that it's ever happened in real life, but I don't even find it funny when it happens on TV. I hate this kind of practical joke kind of thing. That is not funny to me at all. And maybe it's just not funny to me. I was triggered. So this would never be funny to me. Like, even when it happened on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Jeffrey, I felt bad for Jeffrey and I hated Will and Carlton for what they did. So, yeah, I'm triggered by this. I hate this. So that means that Mr. Belding is supervising Zach's class. He lets everybody else leave. And then I don't know why he lets everybody else leave. He just wants to be in the class alone with Zach, like torturing him. But anyway, Zach gets out of class by giving Mr. Belding like chocolate covered insects that Screech gave him earlier in the episode. And So he does it to him a couple of times, and then Zach sneaks out to the beach because that's the next stop. And not Jesse, but what's his name? Slater and Kelly are already there, and they're dancing. And this is like they like recreate some sort of 1950s Frankie and Annette like beach movie type thing, and it's so ridiculous. And they're Kelly and Slater are like dancing, and then like when the dance is over, Kelly is complimenting Slater like, "Oh, Slater, you're such a great dancer." And I'm like, "Wait a second. Why are you complimenting him like you've never seen him dance before? You've been his dance partner before." Like Kelly has danced with Slater before. She was his dance partner in that episode where where Lisa broke her ankle, and they do the screech or the Lisa, whatever that dance is called, where she broke her ankle and she basically just hops all over the place and they end up winning. Like, he's been your fucking dance partner before, Kelly. Why are you complimenting him like you've never seen him dance before? And even if she hadn't been his actual factual partner, she's seen him dance all over the place. Like, Slater has danced so many times in this show. Like, come on, girl. So they're getting really flirty, and he starts putting suntan lotion on her when Zach shows up and sees it. And Zach just keeps catching them being a little too flirty. And Zach and Kelly actually talk because it's not awkward at all to talk to your ex-boyfriend about flirting with his best friend who happens to be the boyfriend of your best friend. That's not awkward or weird at all. They just got such an incestuous thing going on in this friend group. I don't understand it at all. So she talks to Zach about it, and she's telling him how, she feels bad about being attracted. Well, I don't know if she says attracted, but she feels bad about being having fun with Slater while Jesse's not there because she's her best friend. And this was another occasion before Zach got there where Slater is just shitting on Jesse and his relationship with Jesse, because he tells Kelly this is the most fun he's had with a girl in a long time, and it's the first time he's hung out with a girl and not argue with her. And I'm like, oh my God, just go break up with Jesse right now, Slater. Stop hanging out with Kelly and just go break up with that girl. It is just so mean to just shit on her throughout the day while you're spending time with some other girl. And it happens to be her best friend. Like, come on, Kelly. Oh, you just letting him shit talk your best friend and you're not saying anything. She just sort of laughs it off and is like, oh, the compliments. So Zach has to go back to school, and when he gets back there, he finds out that Jesse and Graham are going to take the rest of the day off, and they're going to participate in cut day. And he's trying to stop them because he's seen what's going on between everybody. And at first, you might think, here's Zach being a good friend. He doesn't want Jesse and Slater to see each other like this way because he says that, there's going to be like a big argument. But no, it is not Zach trying to be a good friend. It's Zach being like, these motherfuckers are going to get to the Max is the last stop of the day. So it's back to the Max after the beach. And he's like, these assholes are going to see each other and they're going to start arguing, and it's just going to ruin cut day. And it's like, God damn it, Zach. I thought you were going to try to be a good friend, but no, you just don't want them to ruin your good time. So I guess points for consistency. Like, if Zach was actually trying to be a good person, that would be surprising, but no. He's just being Zach, and he doesn't want them to ruin his good time. But anyway, he can't stop Jesse and Graham from going. and he can't get out of school. So he ends up losing the bet. He walks in like a minute too late. But he gets there before Jesse and Graham get there. And so he's talking to Slater, and he's like, he doesn't even care that he lost the bet. Slater wants to gloat, but Zach is like, nah, let's just go to the bank and get your money. I'm like, to the bank? That's what you can do that? Like, I don't know. He was saying, let's go to the bank and get your money. That's some adult shit. I'm like, don't you have a debit card or something? Did debit cards exist back then? I don't know. I mean, obviously I was too young to have a debit card, but I don't even know. Did debit cards exist? When was the debit card invented? I don't know. That doesn't even matter. Anyway, Jesse and Graham walk in before Slater and Zach can leave to get the money. And Jesse and Graham are like, they walk in like they're friends laughing. And Slater sees them, and we're supposed to think that it's like Jessie stops when she sees Slater and she looks super guilty, and Slater looks like weird about it. So they decide to go and talk at another table. But I'm like, why was it weird? Like, why did she stop that way? It's not like he knew that she was going to be staying at the school with Graham for the protest. So it's not like, it's some surprise that she walked in with some random guy. It was Graham. Like even Slater, and earlier in the episode where Jesse was like, I'm going to stay here and protest with Graham, and Slater's like, really, that guy? So like, he wasn't threatened by Graham at all. Anyway, these two go talk at another table, and they're actually pretty mature about it. Jessie is the one that officially breaks up with him and tells him she thinks they should see other people. And she gets kind of pissed when he like readily agrees to it. Like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But eventually they stop. They don't argue anymore. They hug it out. And then they go announce it to their friends. This is like the most mature thing that's ever happened on this fucking show. They go announce to their friends that they've decided to see other people. And even Slater is like, Jesse and I will still see each other, but only occasionally or something like that. And everything is fine. So, and that's how the episode ends. Slater wins the bet. He breaks up with Jesse. He thinks he's going to date Kelly, but it'll never happen. And that is the end of Cut Day. It was really boring. It was a really boring day. I feel like you could have done what they did on any day. And like, I feel like if you're going to have like this dedicated Cut Day type thing, you have to do something really special. It can't just be like the shit that you would just do on a Saturday with your friends. It has to be something, I don't know. It just has to be something better than what they did. It was like a boring Cut Day. I would have went to school that day. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would have been more fun to be in school where everybody wasn't there. But maybe that's just like the weirdo that I am, and everybody else would have been like, let's go to the beach. Anyway, that is the end of the episode. But we got good episode coming next week. I forget what it's called, but it's the Christmas episode. Where Zach meets the homeless girl for the Christmas play and all that. I'm sorry, I forget what that episode is called, but it's a 2-part episode, which is like kind of fun because, we're getting into the Christmas season. So yeah. That's it, you guys. So if you want to talk to me at all, follow me on the socials. I'm on Twitter at NerdTrovertPod. I'm on Instagram at The Introverted Nerd, and like the Facebook page at facebook.com/The Introverted Nerd. And if you would like to send me feedback about this show or The Gifted or Black Lightning, send it to theintrovertednerd@gmail.com. So this episode will be out on Thanksgiving Thursday. There was no new episode of The Gifted this week, so obviously that podcast is out. But I do have an episode of Black Lightning coming up. So I think that's on Saturday. So expect Black Lightning, a review for the latest episode of Black Lightning on Saturday. And I will talk to you then, you guys. So bye.